everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day. In today's episode, we're gonna make a lovely linen skirt that is super simple to make. The fabric that I use for this project is the Kaufman Brussels linen. So this is a linen blend. It has 55% linen and 45% rayon. I chose the natural color, but it comes in so many different colors, and I actually gave this a little bit of embroidery. If you see this, just a simple running stitches. This is actually Japanese style embroidery. They call it Sashiko, and just add like really fun texture to this garment. So as an alternative, you can also use different kind of fabric. For example, you can use cotton voile or cotton broadcloth fabric. You can also use kind of like flannel shirting, or even jersey knit fabric also will do great for this project. And I also added pockets on both sides because it comes really handy to throw in your cell phone or your key. So the length of this skirt is really a matter of your preference. You can go any shorter or longer. It's totally up to you. Me, I chose knee length because that's what flatters my figure, because I'm only 5'2". If I go beyond my knees, I kind of like get swollen into this skirt. It's really not flattering for me. So we're gonna get started soon. I hope your project turned out great. And as always, if you have any question, let me know in the comment down below. I will gladly answer you. So without further ado, let's get started. First thing first, let's take a couple of measurements. So you're gonna need to take your waist measurement, or where you want your skirt to sit. And you will need to take your hips measurement, or the largest part of your lower body. Then take measurement of your desired length. So just measure down from your waistline to your knees, or wherever you want your skirt to fall. Prepare your fabric. You want to make sure that you have pre-washed this ahead of time. So you're gonna need to cut two identical rectangles as the front and the back of your skirt pieces. Take your hips measurement, divide that by 2, add 5 inches for the ease, and then you want to add 1 inch for the seam allowance. And that's going to be the width of your rectangle. Then you want to measure from your waistline to your knees, or to wherever you want your skirt to fall, and then add to that measurement 1 inch for the waistband allowance, and then add 1.5 inch for the hem allowance. So for example, here my hips measurement is 35.5 inch, and after doing the math, I got the measurement of 23.75 of an inch. So that's gonna be the width of my rectangle. And I want my skirt to be 20 inch long, which gonna fall around my knees. So from that measurement, I'm gonna add 1 inch for the waistband and 1.5 inch for the hem allowance, which gives me the result of 22.5 inch. So once you've got the numbers figured out, go ahead and cut your fabric accordingly. So I fold my fabric in half and then fold that again in half. Then I want to straighten up the edges here. Then I'm going to measure 22.5 inch, which is the length of my skirt, and cut. So now I have a large rectangle. Now I'm going to fold this in half and get rid of that selvage end. And now I'm going to measure the width of my rectangle, which is 23.75. Alright, so now I've got my first skirt piece, and you want to go ahead and cut 2 of these, and then finish the edges by using serger, or you can also use zigzag stitch. Then you want to cut your pocket pieces. You may download the pocket template for free on my website. I will link that down below in the description box. And you will need to cut 4 pieces of this. So I trace my pocket pattern on my Swedish tracing paper first, and then I pin that on the fabric. So I place my fabric on fold. This way I get 2 pieces in one cutting. And then I'm gonna use my rotary cutter and cut this around. Obviously guys, if you're more comfortable using fabric scissors, you may use that instead. Now go ahead and finish the edges off using your serger or zigzag stitch. Now we are going to do a little bit of embroidery to add interesting feature for this skirt. This is gonna be the upper top of my skirt. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to draw vertical lines about 2 inches apart, and the length of each line will be differ. So some are shorter, some are longer. So here I've got my clear plastic ruler, and I'm going to find that 2-inch point from there and draw a line with my fabric marker. I use this embroidery thread in dark brown color. Just measure this to your elbow and then cut, and we're just gonna use 3 strands. So I'm just gonna take 3 strands of this, and I'm gonna thread this to my embroidery needle and start sewing from the top here, and just following this line, making simple running stitches. Here I've got both of my skirt pieces already embroidered. I think they look pretty nice. So this one is gonna be my front skirt, and this one here gonna be my back skirt. So the distance of the embroidery for the back panel I made wider. They are 4 inches apart. Now we're gonna work on the pockets. So you wanna mark 3 inches down from the upper top of your skirt. I'm just gonna use my cutting mat as the gauge here. So here is the 3-inch point, and I'm just gonna mark that down. Now lay your pocket piece from where we put the mark, starting from there. You want to make sure that the right side of your pocket is touching the right side of the skirt. And then I'm going to put a couple of pins to secure this in place. And we're going to sew this with 1/2 inch of seam allowance. Then you want to press the seams towards the pocket. And once you've done that, you want to go ahead and work on the other side the same way we did before. And you want to do the same as well for the back skirt panel. And once you've got all the pocket pieces sewn to all the sides of the skirt, front and back, lay your front and back skirt pieces right side together. Then you want to pin them generously in place. You want to focus on matching the pocket seams first. Once you've done pinning the side seams and the pocket seams, go ahead and sew this starting from the top here, and then make your way down here, and then go follow the pocket seams, and then pivot and go all the way down. Once you've done sewing, go ahead and press the seams open. And voila, your pocket pieces are already attached as the side seams are also already sewn. Now we're going to work on the waistband. Turn your skirt to the wrong side. We're gonna first make the elastic casing, so fold your waistline towards the wrong side just like so, and you want to measure 1 inch with your seam gauge to make sure that the width of the fold is about 1 inch. Then you want to secure that in place with the pin, and go ahead and make your way all around. Now you want to leave about 3-inch opening at the back center of your skirt. So this is where we're going to thread our elastic, so I put a couple of pins here just to make sure not to stitch through this. Now go ahead and sew this with 3/4 of an inch of seam allowance. It's very important that you keep your seam allowance 3/4, since the width of the elastic that we're gonna use is obviously 3/4 of an inch. We're gonna use 3/4 of an inch wide elastic for this project. Cut your elastic exactly the same as your waist measurement. So since my waist measurement is 26 inches, I'm gonna cut my elastic exactly 26 inches. Place a little safety pin at the edge of your elastic, just like so, and then you want to thread this through that opening, and then you want to push that. So you want to use the safety pin to guide the elastic. So you want to continue on threading this elastic all around until you get to the other side of the opening. Alright, so I've already got to the other side. Now take the safety pin off. Then we're gonna overlap this elastic about 1 inch and then sew 2 straight lines to secure this in place. So you want to sew this back and forth for 2 or 3 times just to make sure that they have extra bond. Alright, so once you've done that, place the elastic back inside, and then you want to go ahead and sew the opening close. And once you've sewn the opening close, go ahead and distribute the garter evenly. The last step is to hem this. Go over to your ironing board, and then you want to measure 1/2 inch and then press. You want to make sure that you turn the steam off so you won't burn your delicate fingers. So you want to do this all around, and once you've done that, go ahead and fold 1 inch and secure that in place with a pin. Do this all around, and then you want to sew with 3/4 of an inch of seam allowance. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thumbs up if you like this tutorial, and I shall see you next time with another fun sewing project. Goodbye!